Hi everyone, welcome back to Ants Documentary Channel. This time we're on a mission to see how ants organize themselves when faced with an apple. Are they interested? How will they choose to tackle it? Now, we want to make it clear that we're not scientists, just curious people with a passion for exploring intriguing questions about ants. And sometimes, coming up with questions together is even better than finding the answer alone. So we want to encourage you to leave your remarks or hypotheses in the comment section below. We're pleased to be back at Ant Store Berlin in Germany, once again opening their gates to their amazing ant colonies and setups. A big thank you to them for their support. Let's get started and see what our little ant friends are up to. We tried offering an apple slice to 3 different species: Atta mexicana, Camponotus singularis, and Carebara diversa. Let's start off with Atta mexicana. These ants are known for their impressive organizational skills, living in colonies with different castes of workers for their various tasks. This species, native to Mexico and parts of the southern United States, is renowned for being leaf cutters, so you'd think they'd be pros at dealing with anything plant-based, right? Well, when we gave them the apple, they seemed a bit puzzled at first. It took them a while to figure out what to do with it. Did you know an apple's skin is its first line of defense? Our little leafcutter ants gave it their best shot, starting with the stem. But after a few minutes, their sharp, scalpel-like mandibles just couldn't pierce the apple. They're called leaf cutters, and not apple cutters after all. To give them a helping hand, we made a small incision in the apple, scalpel, and guess what? Everything went much faster from here on. The ants got to work peeling the apple in their usual method, spinning clockwise. The largest ants took charge, making the incision larger. Typically, during this process, the bigger ants will cut pieces to be carried away, or they just drop the piece. Here we have a close-up. A smaller worker ant checks the pieces of the apple to ensure there are no parasites, just as they normally do with their leaves. You can see their amazing teamwork as they organize their movement around the apple, spinning in the same direction to avoid chaos and confusion. How would you expect them to peel this apple? Like us, humans? No, naturally not. Over the first 12 hours, they began stripping the apple from top to bottom. They also started cutting into the flesh of the apple, but they weren't getting all too deep. Later, by making efforts to remove the apple's seed, they gained access to the core of the fruit. From there, they started excavating the apple from within. In the following 12 hours, the real work starts, cutting deeper into the apple's flesh. Here's the result after a full day of diligent work. They demonstrated impeccable organization, much like the way we build pyramids, step by step and with great precision. They left the base of the apple untouched until the very end, ensuring it doesn't collapse. Clever girls. By the way, as you can see here, we had to provide the ants with some fresh leaves because Atta can't survive on fruits alone. As you probably know, what Attas cut is collected to boost the growth of a fungus that they feed on. This fungus could suffer from the acidity of the fruit. To help balance the pH value, we decided to give them the usual blackberry leaves. In the end, they consumed the entire apple in just 2.5 days. They didn't leave any part of it behind. Even the stem was taken and given to the fungus. So, isn't it surprising that the apple remains fresh throughout the process? It's fascinating to watch. We don't see a single brown spot appearing while the ants were taking it apart. There could be a few reasons for this. Firstly, their formicarium mimics a tropical environment. Maybe the humidity rate is enough for an apple not to dry out. However, an apple tree typically doesn't fare well in high and moist temperatures, which is why apples are cultivated in temperate climates. Another reason might be that the ants strip away the layers too quick for any brown spots to develop in the first place. What do you think? Please share your hypotheses in the comment section. Proud of our achievements, we decided to replicate this test with another ant species, Camponotus singularis. Camponotus singularis, commonly known as the carpenter ant, is a large ant species native to tropical and subtropical regions. They are known for their impressive size, strong mandibles, and to nest in wood, often creating extensive tunnel systems. These ants are highly adaptable and are both omnivorous and opportunistic feeders, often foraging for sweet substances, protein sources, and even small insects. Sadly, even a few hours later, they didn't really seem interested in the apple. You see this ant here trying to cut a piece off of it? One of the few that seem to be motivated. Slightly disappointing if you ask me. Insulting even. watching them prioritize moving corpses over eating the juicy apple we offered them. But that's not even the worst part. Here they're sharing their regular honey through trophallaxis on our apple. How rude. On a more serious note, here are some hypotheses. The singularis were already well fed and didn't need another food source. Or perhaps the apple was too sour for their taste. Again, we're curious what you think. So far, we have had only success with the Attas, and the singularis ants somehow managed to resist our delicious offering, but we didn't want to let ourselves be discouraged by that. We decided to try again with a species quite different from singularis, introducing Carebara diversa. Carebara diversa has shown itself to be adept at solving problems by coordinating in swarms. It's a polygyne species, meaning that they can have multiple queens who lay eggs. Their colonies feature ants of various sizes, with major workers being much larger than minor ones, and the queens are giants in comparison to the workers. The size difference among Carebara diversa ants allows them to specialize in different tasks and therefore be ready for a various set of challenges. Considering the size of the regular workers, we didn't give the Carebara diversa a full apple, just a slice to see how they would manage. They quickly started covering the apple like a hungry swarm. Over the course of a week, they managed to completely suck out all the juice from the apple. They worked more efficiently in the second part of the time-lapse when we placed the apple on the ground. Unlike with the Atta ants, the apple became completely brown as they extracted the juice from it. After the third day, they began to organize a network of tunnels beneath the apple, methodically sucking the juice from there. After 7 days, they finally lost interest in the apple. Just for comparison's sake, we gave them a piece of banana, but it drew their attention only for a few hours. Perhaps this was because the banana is a somewhat drier fruit. We do have a nice shot of the banana drying out though. Our experiment with different ant species and the apple has given us a fascinating look into the unique behaviors and capabilities of ants. Atta mexicana showcased their impressive organizational skills, working together in a methodical way to strip the apple. Carebara diversa displayed a more aggressive swarm-like approach, efficiently extracting the apple's juice. Meanwhile, the Camponotus singularis ants showed little interest in the apple, raising intriguing questions about their preferences and needs. From this simple experiment, we see just how diverse and specialized at the same time these ants can be, each adapting to their environment and resources in their own way. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know if you liked this more experiment-type video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon to stay updated. Once again, thank you, because your support means a lot to us and helps us keep creating more content for you. And hopefully, we'll see you in the next one.